Dude, I'm actually just proud of us both. When I look at how many picks you actually put out, I mean, you're putting out volume. I think I only put out two,
Yeah,
and in the same amount of time, you're putting out 10 picks,
yeah,
and they're all fuego. I
yeah.
think what less than one lot or less than two losses. You been watching XFL?
Not really. No, not really. Although the games aren't really as watchable as I thought they were going to be. They're pretty unwatchable at certain times, and betting that it's been pretty predictable though.
I'm not saying that it's going to be the end of times. What I'm saying is it's going to be a very difficult time because what we have here in America is a bunch of service jobs. And then one thing I realized, especially working at the lab, is that the people who are in the higher up positions, none of them, almost none of them, like let's just say 10% of them were like American, born in America, maybe talk like you or me. Everybody else making 70 grand or above was from another country.
All right, man. Welcome back, doggy. We've been gone for a few weeks. It feels good to get back in the studio. We got new mics. I'm very excited. Excited. You see, we want to make sure you hear that clearly that I messed that up. Um, I did pretty well these past couple weeks since we haven't been on. I know you've been doing really, really well, man. You're on fire. I've seen, the few picks that you've had in the Discord. I was at the bar with you and you had this really, really good pick and we'll talk about it a little bit. But, man, you've been killing it, bro. You've been killing it. I think between your picks and then my picks in the Discord, it's just been really, really good. Um, I can't, I mean, these picks bought the mics. So that speaks for itself. So, man, um, we were at the bar last week. That last time we were
Sports
gonna,
book, right?
yeah, we were at the sports book, and you had a pick where you took the team minus the points. So it was the Lakers; they were getting like 2 points. You took them minus the 3.5, where it was like plus 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 money, and then outright cash. That was pretty cool. That was like the type of bet that like I honestly don't even see you making much, and it's the type of bet I want to make more often. But it was a straight casher too by the end of the night, and man, that was so you're on fire, dude. That was like amazing, man. Like what the how the hell did you do that? Like what were you thinking when you did that?
I'll be honest, it was almost what 2 weeks ago, so I can't even recall. I just knew that my analysis said reverse tease was the spot. Reverse tease.
Yeah, reverse tease. That's what
We
it's
were
called.
talking about
Yeah,
it, right?
reverse
But
tease.
yeah, I won't pretend like there was like a lot of thought. There was obviously some thought that went into it, but dude, I'm actually just proud of us both. When I look at how many picks you actually put out, I mean, you're putting out volume. I think I only put out two,
Yeah,
and in the same amount of time, you're putting out 10 picks, and
yeah,
they're all fuego. I
yeah.
think what less than one lot or less than two losses.
Well, it went 12-4, and then I
There you
went
go.
two pushes, and I went three losses. So it was overall 12-6-2, right? No,
Yes,
12-7-2.
that's pretty good, dude.
Yeah. Well, the three losses at the end, that was not good in the sense because like they were different. Like I was winning, and then I pushed a couple times, and then like I just wasn't capping the same way that I was in the first 12 to get 12-4. It was amazing. It was really good. It was exactly what I said I was gonna do, a few weeks back beforehand, where that was like a really really good section when you have the NCAA tournament, right before when they're on these little tournaments within their conference. Man, it's so predictable for me. And yeah, so I went 12-4. Man, that was really good. Like I was killing it. And uh
That's your niche, man. NCAA, dude.
well, like I said, like I know my strengths, and one of my strength is that part of the section. I could have actually had more volume, but I was really hoping to put out some like third. I probably only put out about half of what I was planning on, but Yeah, it was still better than nothing, right? Still pretty good. And then yeah, you got the tournament coming up. But first, that's with me. But with you, I mean, you had another pick too yesterday.
Yeah, last night. Now that one, obviously, I can remember because it was last night. Um, there was a crap ton of points scored in the first half, and I just felt like the public pushed up the total. So once the public pushed up the total, I decided to take a flyer. So it was Warriors Suns. I think opening total was like 236, and I ended up in the fourth quarter. I ended up getting 241 and a half. And to me, I just felt like whoever's gonna win this game, they're just gonna at the end of the game, they're gonna salt it away, like slow down the tempo. It didn't seem like a 1 or 2 point game. In fact, it was out of reach for the majority of the game. Suns were getting smashed. Suns have not been playing very well, which is very surprising, actually. I thought they would be playing a lot better at this point in the season, man. What about World Baseball Classic, dude? Are you
Well,
watching baseball, dude?
listen, dude, you're on fire, bro. Like two. Hold on, before we get in that 2-0, right? On fire, like I said, like, but they're not just bad picks; they're like really good picks. And you said you had some other ones you didn't put in Discord and that one and everything. So, man, it's bro, it's just good to see you on fire, bro. Like
Dude, you too.
you know what I had in the Discord, it was pretty fun. It was pretty cool. But we're gonna, man, World Baseball. You like that stuff? I couldn't bet on that. I wouldn't know.
Oh, I
That's
haven't bet at all on it. I
mm,
literally was watching it as a fan. Now, since we were
yeah.
little, I love baseball, dude. I played high school baseball. Obviously, I wasn't really a stud. I'm sure my friends would tell you that. But I could hold my own. And it's something that my grandfather and my cousins, like we all, I mean, he taught us the game. I love baseball. So I did not make any bets on World Baseball Classic. I've been watching as a fan, and I got to tell you, Team Puerto Rico threw the first perfect game in World Baseball Classic history. So as a Puerto Rican, hey, you're Puerto Rican too. We got to be really proud, man. Represent Team Puerto Rico. First perfect game in World Baseball Classic history. It took 4 pitchers to do it, but it doesn't take away from it. The final score was 10-0 against Israel. Um, yeah, apparently they have like a slaughter or mercy rule, but dude, it's been Team USA. So Team USA, with all the talent that they have, they got smashed by Mexico, and I actually think Team USA is in trouble, dude. Like they don't bring. I get it. They have like a lot invested in these pitchers, so they're not really bringing them in like our grade A studs. So against Mexico, they threw out Nick Martinez, and in the very first inning, he got shelled by Joey Meneses, plays for the Nationals, right? And that guy, wow, I I honestly didn't know that he had that much talent. He was smacking the cover off the ball left and right, man. Um, Team Venezuela. When I look at their lineup, I'm like, this is the team that's gonna win it all. So I don't know what the odds are. I might just take like a little flyer, a little fun bet here. But I'm gonna say Team Venezuela is gonna win the whole thing. Like top to bottom, pitching, hitting, they have everything. The United States, they have hitting and fielding, but they have no pitching right now. They're gonna get smoked. Maybe even by Shohei Ohtani. Who knows? Japan's doing really well. They're just not in the same pool right now. Um. Ooh, did you know Randy Arozarena? He's Mexican.
Mhm.
All this time, I thought he was Puerto Rican. I thought he was one of us.
You play. He plays for Team Mexico.
Yeah, dude. I was looking at. I was just, okay. So I mean, it is what it is. But I just saw like a lot of American names, like Austin Barnes. We were just talking about that. Apparently, he's Mexican, playing for Team Mexico, or Taiwan Walker. Taiwan Walker playing for Team Mexico. you're finding out a lot. I mean, it's not really like important stuff, but it's like fun little tidbits of information about people.
Mm.
And I'm hearing some of these guys speak Spanish, and it's like, I never knew he could speak Spanish. You're just finding out little things about people, and I think overall, people are having fun. Javi Baez, did you see his swim tag?
Oh no, I haven't seen it. No.
Oh my god! I mean, we saw it forever, right, with the Cubs, but there was a play where he literally, El Mago, he was out. He was dead, gonna be out, and he moved his left hand, and this is in real time. He's running full speed, moves his left hand out of the way, sneaks his right hand in there, and he's safe. The guy stole third base with 2 outs. You don't do stuff like that. No coach is teaching me to steal third base with 2 outs, but here's this guy doing it like he's in little league, and that's what made it fun to watch. So even though I haven't been making any bets, like as a pure baseball fan, dude, it's been fun just watching that stuff, and I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to World Baseball Classic, and there was some local news. I don't know if you want to touch on that, but our local
Well,
local squad,
who?
the Bears, made some news, some headlines, some nice moves.
What do you think about what they did?
Oh my God! All right, so you and I both know historically we have not been managed very well, and I'm not really talking from a head coach standpoint. I'm really more talking about up top, right? Ted Phillips is gone, and now we got this guy Ryan Poles, and I don't really know much about him, but I do know this: he's pulling the trigger fast. He's not waiting to do nothing. So, in case people don't know, but I'm pretty sure they already know, the Chicago Bears traded the number 1 pick to the Carolina Panthers. And in exchange, we got a number 1 pick. I'm sorry, we got the number 9 pick. In this year's draft, we got the number 61 pick, which I think that'd be second round. And then we also got a first rounder 2024, a second round pick in 2025, and we got DJ Moore. I mean, when I'm looking at this is like 1, 2, 3. You got 4 starters.
You know what the thing that scares me about this is how much people love it. There's
Too good to be true.
there's not one person that's kind of thinking, man, maybe the Bears didn't get fleeced.
Nah, the Panthers got fleeced.
Yeah.
All those draft picks. I mean, think about it. The Bears historically have been in that position, and they're the ones giving away picks. And now we have, I don't know if we have the most cap room, but I'm pretty sure we're like top 2 or 3. If not, we have the most cap room. And then you add all these new guys. So think about it. So next year, we got DJ Moore, Chase Claypool, and Darnell Mooney. That's a pretty decent receiving corps. You got Cole Kmet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the defense is getting better, right? So I think last year, defense was like clearly the worst or the weakest link, right? So we just signed this guy, Tremaine Edmonds, from the Bills, and then TJ Edwards from the Eagles. Just won a Super Bowl, right? Very solid at their positions, good tacklers, and my only concern is that they don't force turnovers, right? So they're very good in coverage, very good spies. They might, my only concern is a third and short, right? We don't have a guy who's just going to get in there. What was that guy's, our defensive tackle who sat out for COVID? Do you remember him? I already forgot about him.
No, I don't know who
Oh
you're
my
talking
gosh.
about.
You know what? I already forgot about him. He's an afterthought. But all I remember is this guy was an anchor at defensive tackle, and if it was third and short, we could count on him to at least slow the guy down, and then everyone else would converge. We don't really have people that are going to stop you on third and short, but we do have people who are going to prevent the long ball. I'm very excited about Bears.
Well, let me interject and just say, the one thing I'm really concerned about is how this decision that he's made has been hailed by everyone as a great move. I'm just really not buying that. And time will tell. We'll see how the number one pick overall does. I think they're gonna take Young. We'll see. It's not up to me, but anyway, I don't know. And again, the pick that they get for next year is also going to be really, really big. All right. So if Carolina does horribly and the Bears get like another top 5 pick, really good trade, right? But let's just imagine a scenario where Carolina drafts the quarterback does really, really well. Carolina does it really, really well. Now the Bears are drafting really high and they just missed out on a franchise leading quarterback, because they traded away that first overall pick. I'm just saying, like, there's a likely scenario that in Bears
Really
history,
though?
it's Bears history here. We know Bears history that this type of stuff happens all the time with them.
I think the most brilliant part about it is we took away their number one receiver, DJ Moore. So even if, like you said, they draft the guy, they draft a quarterback, who the heck is he going to throw the ball to? The Bears are guaranteed a very solid pick next year. Carolina Panthers are not making any noise, pal. None.
Well, I'm just saying, maybe maybe they don't win, but maybe the quarterback is still really, really good. And yeah, like I said, everyone really, really likes it, and I think that's not a good sign, to be quite honest. I really don't.
I could understand your skepticism. Our history shows us that we should be thinking like that, but this is different. It's a different regime. They're not waiting to make the moves. They're doing it right away, right? As soon as the news broke out, because I felt like everyone knew they were going to trade the pick. So if the news is out there that they're going to trade the pick, trade the fucking pick, dude. Just trade it. Get the most you can for it. You don't need to wait. You don't need to play mind games. And that's what I kind of like about it. We're not playing mind games. This guy, Poles, has an agenda. He's going right into it, and he's executing his agenda in real time. That's what we need, man. We need people who aren't afraid to just make calls, make moves, and make it happen. Bears, baby. Bear down.
Well, we'll see. Football is still a couple sports away. You were talking about the World Baseball Classic. MLB's coming up a couple weeks. I think end of March. I think it starts.
Can't wait.
So that's like what, 2 weeks away, and probably I think 2 weeks probably from something like today or something like that. Man, you bet that?
Nah, I like I said, I'm really watching as a fan. So as you could tell, I mean, during the same time span that you put out like 15, 16 picks, I put out 2, right? So I've been really involved in trying to get better at my new job, right? Just because I started off a little rocky, like, you're learning things. I thought in the last episode, actually, I remember it's like, oh, it's just like riding a bike. But that's just like the first week where everyone's like happy. And then it's like, okay, it's like you're the free agent. They brought you in there. Now perform like you're the free agent that we think you are.
Yeah.
So it hasn't really worked out. So I'm trying to like my best to just kind of get better at that before I start jumping all over the place.
Well, you're not on the bench yet, right?
No, there's no bench.
Well, until you get on the bench, like, then you shouldn't worry.
No, this is
You're
like
playing in the field. You're good.
Yeah, no, this is like a situation where we have a. So remember in sometimes in Little League where you didn't have enough play, like you only had 8 players, so then your right field is out. That's kind of what
probably.
Like we don't really have a lot of people working here now, but the idea is eventually we'll grow it and we'll get bigger and better.
You gotta play that, man. You gotta play that field, man.
Got to play to win. But yeah, no, I've just been like focusing on that, focusing on my boy. I haven't forgot about handicapping at all. I just like by the time I'm off, it's just a culture shift going from like working overnight in a lab to doing what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
I'm awake at different times. I'm enjoying watching a game as a fan. Like just sitting down, relaxing, watching baseball, and not only watching baseball, there's a buzz about these games. These are different. This is not like, this is bigger than, obviously it's not bigger than like World Series or anything like that. But that's the kind of buzz that we have here. Like, the fan bases are just going bananas. All the Mexican horns were going off every time they got a hit. This guy Meneses hit 2 home runs in the same game against US. I gotta say, man, it made me happy, genuinely happy as a fan. I wasn't even trying to like bet money on this. Sometimes it's okay to just appreciate things for what they are and appreciate the talent that these guys have. And they look like they're having fun. They're not pressing. They're like literally, it's like they're in Little League, man. They're just having fun, dude. Tim Anderson was pretty solid.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How much longer does this go for? I don't even know.
Hell if I know. I believe the U.S. has a game against Colombia coming up at 10 o'clock. It's either like tomorrow or Thursday, but I might look into it.
Yeah.
I might be looking to fade the U.S. because Colombia looks pretty good too.
Yeah.
But Venezuela, oh man, you look at that lineup. Oh my God, let me pull it up here, dude. Venezuela's, they're stacked. Let's
How
see.
many teams is in this league?
Oh, a lot. All right. So this is Team Venezuela. You tell me if this is a good roster. We have Ronald Acuna, Jose Altuve, Miguel Cabrera is debatable because he's a little bit older. But who else we got in here?
He's still good, man.
We got Gleyber Torres, Eugenio Suarez. Like, these are all guys that Salvador Perez, David Peralta. You know these names. These are major league names. And it's just like we're starting to realize that, not starting to realize, baseball's always been a global sport, but you're starting to realize that, like, hey, man, the best players maybe aren't from America.
Oh, they haven't been for a long time. No.
And they might not even be from Latin America either, man. South Koreans, they know how to play baseball very well.
Yeah.
Japan, Shohei Ohtani. Like, dude, this is exciting stuff. I'm not trying to pump everybody up, but watch a game.
You're pumped up for it, man.
Watch a game, man. Yeah. Watch the World Baseball Classic. It's going to beat the heck out of any spring training game you're going to watch.
So you don't like regular baseball?
Oh, I love regular baseball. I just love baseball, period. But this is different. The energy is different. You know how, like, some people, they go to the games. So, like, you go to Wrigley or you go to U.S. Cellular, and it's, like, April, early May. People are just, like, conversating in the stands, and there's, like, not really a buzz. It's just, like, people are talking about everything else but the game.
Oh.
This is different. Everyone's focused on the game. Every pitch, every at-bat, every moment is, like, big. And then, I don't know, I think they're doing a pretty good job with telecasting it and advertising it. I'm sure they spent a lot of money. Like, I don't know who's behind this, but I see World Baseball Classic material everywhere. And not just on my social media. Like, my friends, family, my cousin Deborah, shout out Deborah, she's into it, right? Team Puerto Rico, when they pitched their perfect game, she was so excited. Like, you know how Puerto Ricans are passionate, bro. We're very passionate people. So it's just an energy, man. It's an energy that's infectious, and it's like, man, it's missing. It's missing from Major League Baseball. I want more of it, man. I want that energy. Don't you?
Well, I haven't watched any of it.
You been watching XFL?
Not really. No, not really. Although the games aren't really as watchable as I thought they were going to be. They're pretty unwatchable at certain times. And, betting that, it's been pretty predictable, though. Well, I haven't been I've been betting it. That's the problem. It's just kind of like, oh, it's too good to be true. This team's going to win again, like the Roughnecks or something. Like, nah, and then they win, and you're just like, oh, I should have did it. But it's the XFL, so you're just like, you really don't know.
I told you it was going to get sharper too. I felt like the moment to take advantage was like a couple of weeks ago when we were talking and it started, and I just never went, to
Yeah.
analyze it. Like I was just focused on other
I think
things.
these books, man, they really know what they're doing, man. They really know what they're doing. Like that, they put out some good numbers. Like they're more times than not, they're right there. You know. So how do I get two pushes in a row? Other than that,
I did see that. You had two pushes in a
you
row.
know,
That's
that's
wild.
yeah, because they're putting out sharp numbers. You know.
Sharp knife. What else is going on, man? What else is going on in your life? So we're talking about sports and stuff, but come on, man. You're like the guy's guy, right? You build shit. Like you're always doing something. What's
Well,
going on in
no,
your life?
well, no. I was just paying attention to everything, like you should probably, or to most, you know, in the markets and stuff, and
Tell me
it's been
about it,
pretty
man.
crazy. You know, the banks and stuff have been pretty crazy. It's been a depositor bailout. You know, it's really, you know.
What's going on? What? Tell me about it. Tell me what's going
Well,
on.
you really can't. I really can't tell you much about it in the like I wanted to tell you in like a betting form is kind of going to be like you know, you had this massive parlay and they couldn't pay you, but there was going to be no way I could even make the comparison. There was not going to be one. But yeah, no, basically how much do you know about it?
Are we talking about SVB, the Silicon
Yeah.
Valley Bank?
Yeah.
I know it like went under, and then it was like I don't know. It's apparently it's business as usual. So the Feds took over and they installed a new CEO who used to be the CEO of Fannie Mae, and that's
Yeah.
pretty much all I know about it
Yeah.
right now.
Actually, kind of at this point, I've been like overdrained with it. I'll just say this: the bank they didn't really do anything wrong. They did wrong within like their management. You know what they did were there was a couple instances where they lobbied to get the regulations that they had in place. Um, Basically, you know, they were all a part of it from the get go. But at the same token, like, you know, it was really because the rates went up, and
You talking about the
yeah,
Fed?
yeah. So the rates went up, and basically the bank had bonds with the bank or something, and yeah, and the rates go up, so then their bonds are lower. They're not worth as much, so it doesn't look good on the balance sheet. And when people um, pull out the bank on a bank run, which is really interesting. That's I guess the one thing I want to talk about because I'm really actually done talking about the bank. You just really got to find out for yourself, my guy. It's hard for me to even talk about it. I know how it works. It's just man, it's just so nuanced. You know, they didn't have people. They had money to pay people back. You know, but basically, the one thing I want to ask you, bro, um, bank runs. Are you familiar with bank runs?
No.
All right. All right.
School me?
Bank runs are when multiple. Okay. You bank at a bank. You're a person. You go to the bank. You give them your money, and they take that money and they loan it out, and that's how they get their interest. And you're able to keep your money there. And uh, basically, if everyone goes to the bank at the same time and draws out their money, the bank doesn't have enough money to pay you out. And the way it happens is by spread of information between uh, depositors at the bank. So if I know the bank doesn't have enough money to cover everyone that they have money for, you're going to take your money out. And then you're going to tell somebody, hey, they don't have enough to pay out. You should take your money out. And then people start looking at the company or at the bank and saying, you know, what's going on with this bank? You know, look at it closely. They'll see other people taking out their money in large deposits. So there'll be people looking at it from all different angles, and they'll see something, and then they'll take out their money, and so it spreads like a contagion, where all these people are then taking all the money from the bank that the bank doesn't have. It's called a bank run. The thing about the bank run that currently happen is it happens so fast because of the information spread really, really fast. And then what they were afraid of is that information spreading to other banks, because then if other people are going to assume the same thing, they're going to say, hey, let me get my money out these other banks because you might collapse as well. So then you have all these banks collapsing. So they wanted to stop the contagion and assure people that they get their money with this one bank. But if it happens more, it's inevitable that it can't be stopped. Because the only thing that guarantees people their money is the bank having a $250,000 FDIC insurance on it, and that's up to 250. Anything after that, if the bank can't pay you, you lose it. Okay, so if there's all these banks that go out because people pull out their money because they think the same thing that is going to happen, a spread of information, because, hey, listen, it doesn't mean that you have to keep your money in a small bank. You can most likely go to you can go to a big bank if you can get the loans there, but you'd rather not have your money in a bank that can go under than having it in a bank that can go under. So, I thought it was pretty wild, but I guess everything I just told you, do you think bank runs in its form can happen like more more often?
It has happened before. All right, so I'm not getting off topic. I'm trying to stay on topic here. But what do you know about Jekyll Island? Do you know about Jekyll Island?
Yeah, I think I know a little bit, but I
Secret meeting.
Tell me.
All right, so a long time ago, and I'm a history guy, so there was a secret gathering at a secluded island off the coast of Georgia, and basically this is how the Federal Reserve was founded. There's a handful of people, well, 6 guys: Nelson Aldrich, let's see, A. Piot, whoever that guy is, A. Piot Andrew, I should say, Henry Davidson, Arthur Shelton, Frank Vanderlip, and Paul Warburg. I don't know who these people are, but I know they colluded, and they basically fleeced the American public. Because at the time, we were, like our grandparents, most Americans actually during that time would have been opposed to centralized banking. Most people don't even understand the concept of centralized banking. They don't understand, like, most people think that, like, we print our own money, when the reality is the United States of America borrows every single dollar from a private bank known as the Federal Reserve. And in exchange, we pay them back their money with interest. Where did they get the interest? They raise taxes, right, on us. So a long time ago, people thought that over time, the American public would end up getting fleeced in terms of higher taxes. Because if we're making our own paper, we're in control of the situation, right? We had gold reserves to back up whatever we had, and then Nixon did away with that. But the Federal Reserve is quite literally the decay of everything that you see around us. I'm not anti-capitalism. I'm just saying the way it's structured right now, it makes it to where it's so hard, dude. It's going to be so hard to keep pace. Like, unless you're like super smart like you, where you're just, you're like Rain Man with the numbers, or it makes it hard if you're just an average worker. Like, say you don't have the aptitude or the acumen to look at the stock market, find and identify trends or downturns, or like, I feel like you're really good at like finding your entrance and exit points. And the general public in America, they probably don't even care about stuff like that. They want to go to work. Mm-hmm. They want their Fridays and Saturdays, Sundays for church for some, right? But
well, that's the betting public.
The betting public. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that's, and people are okay with that. And there's nothing wrong with that life. Mm-hmm. The problem is that when you're oblivious to how everything works around you, eventually you will succumb to the system that is around you, man. My dollar isn't worth as much as it was 10 years ago. There's lots of reasons for it, but I got to tell you, centralized banking is a reason why my buying power isn't as strong as it should be. There's no reason I should be working as hard as I am right now, or even you, or anybody. Like my mom, I see my mom working hard. Like, it's like my dad. Like, when do they get to retire? Will they get to retire? Will I get to retire? Will I have Social Security? Will I have like what? There's so many, like our generation, there's so many question marks and nobody cares. It's just like, okay, but what are you doing this Friday? What do you, the betting public, right? What, hey, let's go to the casino on Friday. Let's go to the club. Let's do this. As long as you give people an outlet, they honestly don't care. But they will start to care, in my opinion. You're going to see things, the atmosphere is going to change drastically. Within the next 3 to 5 years, you're going to see some major changes. I don't know what they're going to be. I'm not a fortune teller. I just know it's not going to get better. It's going to get worse. Like, shitstorm worse. And you got to be ready for it. And I feel like you're a smart guy. You kind of maybe sense things like that, which is why you go about your life the way you do. You're not just working a regular job. You're investing in umpteen different things. But it's important to realize that not everyone else is doing that. Like, most people are just happy with just going to work, coming back home, sitting on the couch, cracking open a beer, and that's it. And that's life. Not to us, pal. Not to us. We're bigger than the betting public, man. I mean, actually, at one point, we were the betting public. But at some point, come on, man. You got to want more out of life.
I always like to make sure that I stay as the betting public. No, you always want to be a betting public.
We're a
better.
part of it.
You always want to be
We're
a
a part
public
of it.
better, you know.
Especially me, right?
I just, you don't want to get too sharp. You know.
When you get too sharp, you have less friends.
But how bad do you think it's going to get? You seem to have really big worries with that, my guy.
So, I mean, again, I'm just observing things. So there's a lot of protections that ended for people at the end of COVID with respect to housing and stuff like that. So my theory is that once those protections end, you're going to see a lot more evictions. I'm already seeing a lot of people, because of the industry that I'm in now, who can't afford their bills, who can't afford their mortgages. You're going to see a lot of foreclosures, which obviously for the people who have bread, hey man, you saw The Big Short, one of my favorite movies of all time.
Man, it's funny that you mentioned that. I actually
It's
wanted
such a
to
great
mention
movie,
that
dude.
movie during this podcast once, bro. You beat me to it. Yeah.
Another opportunity just like
I
that.
love that movie.
Where there's gonna be tons of foreclosures. People with money are gonna be like, damn, there's a lot of real estate out here, pennies on the dollar. I could scoop up, make some money. I'm not saying that it's gonna be the end of times. What I'm saying is it's gonna be a very difficult time because what we have here in America is a bunch of service jobs. And then one thing I realized, especially working at the lab, is that the people who are in the higher up positions, almost none of them, like let's just say 10% of them were like like American, born in America, maybe talk like you or me. Everybody else making 70 grand or above was from another country. They're from Nigeria. They're from, Switzerland. They're from Germany. They're from here. They're from there. It's like think about tech jobs. I mean, all the jobs that pay money, they're not being like, it's not like people like, I don't want to say people like me, but I'm not applying for those jobs.
I think if you knew how to code, learn how to code.
But I'm the betting public, right? I don't like, it doesn't, it's almost like cars. So like my dad and my older brother, I have one older brother, they love cars. ever since they were younger, that was like their thing, and they actually made careers off of it, made very fruitful lives. You know, their knowledge of cars, fixing cars, racing cars, cars. They tried to teach me, and I was just so disinterested, dude, because I just wanted to play baseball, and I just wanted to I was like living in the moment, like most American people. I was just living for experiences, which to me, that's not a bad ideology or way to live. Like you should be living for experiences with your loved ones, with your friends. It's this grind. We get caught up in this grind, dude. Working, working. I worked 12 hours in my house today. Felt like a goddamn prison. And I was striking out, man. Like I said, it was, it wasn't for a lack of effort, but my results just weren't there. So I gotta get back to it, man. I can't be so caught up in these experiences that could be fun, that I lose sight of the future, man. I gotta keep, like you always remind me, like you think for the future. You gotta build for the future.
I always like to make sure that you're got an eye on the future, but like no, like you got to make sure that like you got both. You got to have like four eyes really, but you got to have your two eyes on the next morning and then completing all your task, and just moving on and just keeping on what you're doing in a daily routine, but like just improving on it, and it can be hard sometimes, but there's nothing else you can do. You have only one option, and that's it. So, but yeah, I thought it was a pretty good episode, my guy.
Dude,
Thanks.
honestly, a lot of material here. And I know we did not rehearse any of this stuff. We're just like literally speaking our minds. So thanks again for having me.
Till next time.
Till next time, brother.